All right. Hello, everyone. Just trying to get the stream started. You'll have to give me a few minutes as I get some technical issues resolved. Okay, so I've had to start a new stream. I think the old one was uh, was a wrong link. I think I messed up something in the app, but I think we're live now. Can folks hear me? Awesome. I see quite a few folks joining in the comments as well. All right, let me see how I can turn off the comments out here. All right, excellent. So we are live. My very first live stream. Thank you guys for joining in. So big disclaimer that since this is the very first time I'm doing it, there are bound to be a lot of technical issues. I'm just going to turn off the comments for now over here. But I think this is just a test run. If this thing goes smoothly, then I think we will definitely do more of these in the future because I definitely like the interaction that I have with my viewers. So we'll give it a few more moments for a few more folks to join in, and then we'll get started with the matches. But till then, let me just talk a little bit about my current setup for streaming, because usually people stream over an emulator through BlueStacks or some software like OBS or something to help with the live streaming. I'm currently streaming directly from my mobile phone, from the YouTube app on my mobile phone. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but what I'm also doing is I'm keeping my PC on the side, and I'm reading all the comments that you guys are making directly. So I'm going to be tracking all the comments whenever I can. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them along the way, and we'll make it a live interactive session where we'll have a conversation. So I've watched plenty of live streams from other YouTubers, but it's the very first time that I'm doing mine. So there might be some learning curve, but I think we'll get through it. I'm excited about it. So thanks for joining in. So we have about 13 people who've joined in so far. And since this is a test run that I'm doing, I deliberately did not give much of an advance notice, and I kept it pretty late at night. It's like about I think 12:30 p.m. for East Coasters in the U.S. So it's just going to be a test run. I think if things go smoothly, next time I'll probably keep a more reasonable time so that a few more people can join in, and I'll probably give like a day notice or something like that. But it's not very often that I really get time to live stream. But since I had a chance, and it's the finale of the Grand Arena Championship Season 4, so I felt it might be a fitting opportunity to go ahead and live stream. All right, so we have 15 folks who've joined in, a lot of folks in the comments. Kleso is here as well. Hey, Kleso, how you doing? I just saw that you uploaded your own video right now. I'll check it out later. But glad that you could make it over here as well. Okay, so I think we're about 7 minutes into the live stream. Let's go ahead and take a look at my opponent for the finals, and we'll take it from there. So I'm facing currently Methos, who is from the guild The Force. Now, Methos is a pretty good player. Now, if I look at his lifetime score, 161,000, that's actually higher than my lifetime score of about 160,000. So he's definitely been doing really well in Grand Arena Championships. And he's already reached Khyber, just like me. Both of us are already in Khyber. So it's a low pressure match from that point of view. Our rewards are we're just going to be competing for first place, not necessarily for the 2 Zetas in Khyber. And Methos has got a really good inventory of characters as well. As you can see, he's got a fully Relic 7 clone General Skywalker team, which is pretty exciting. And we've got a negotiator over here as well, which is also good to see. So if I look at his stats quickly, on On the offensive side, my opponent has won about, let's see, where do we have the offense? 412 battles on offense. My score as of now is about 399 or so. And so my opponent has got a really good offensive record. Methos, he's a pretty good offensive players. On the defensive side, I've got more wins. I've probably got around 200 or so defensive successful battle defense, and my opponent has got about 129. So I tend to go a little more heavy on defense, but my opponent has got a really good track record on offense. And you can see over here, he's also reached Khyber in the last season, and he's reached Khyber in this season as well. So definitely a worthy opponent to go in with for the finals. My opponent did also reach out to me in on chat, and he wished me best of luck. I think he follows my YouTube channel as well. So I actually forgot to mention to him that I'll be live streaming. It was more or less a last minute decision, but it would have been great if Methos could have joined in as well on the live stream. But it's anyway going to be a test run, so let's go ahead with that. Before I go on to the battle stage, let me see if there's any comments or any questions that we have. All right, so things seem to be quiet right now. Big hello to everyone who's joined in. We've got about 20 watching in right now. I don't anticipate the participation to be much, given that it's late at night for most people. But thank you everyone who's joined in. I was really excited to have all of you guys today for my very first live stream. Okay, so let's get started with taking a look at my opponent. So my opponent has had a chance to go. Methos, he attacked me within an hour or two of the Grand Arena attack phase opening. So he did get a chance to go, and let's take a look at what they did in the defense. So they did one-shot my General Skywalker as well as my Shakti clones team, and they had a little bit of a struggle against my Darth Revan team. But they did manage to clear it. Most of my opponents, they've struggled with this zone, so which makes me think that my opponent Methos really went extremely heavy on offense. So I'm just hoping for that, so that I'll be able to clear them more efficiently. Because right now, if you see, they've dropped one battle on Darth Revan over here. At the back over here, I'd kept relatively weaker teams. And my opponent one-shot everything at the back, but they did have a couple of battles against my Hux first order team, which I was pretty happy to see. There is a tank in there, there's an attacker in there, Kylo Ren, who also gives tons of turn meter, applies healing immunity on basic, and all these guys are going to have 100% counter chance, and first order Stormtrooper by himself also has a lot of counter chance as well. So these guys are going to be attacking out of turn quite a lot, applying healing immunity. Not exactly healing, but they'll be gaining tons of turn meter as well. So it's a pretty easy team to underestimate, in my opinion. So good to see that it got a hold. All right. So and then at the top, we see that my opponent did have a couple of battles against the new team. That team was the one which has been giving my last 5 or 6 opponents a lot of trouble. It was clear in the last battle. I need to check out the swgoh.gg history whenever it comes out. But my opponent currently, Methos, he managed to two-shot it. So I got to ask what he took against that. But where they ended up struggling was with my Night Sister team. Now, Night Sisters are usually something which I've kept on offense for the last 2 or 3 weeks in 3v3. I just felt that they can very easily be taken out by geos or something else like that. And I felt they were more versatile on offense. But today I decided to break from my tradition and decided to keep these sisters on defense. And they did a pretty good job. I kept them under Asajj lead just because the zombie gains tons of turn meter every time you drop her below 100% health. She ends up gaining 50% turn meter, so she's going quite a lot and taunting quite a lot. And Spirit is so the rest of my sisters are not that well geared. There's only G12, but Spirit is R5, and pretty well modded. 296 speed with a critical damage and critical chance set, tons of offense, and extreme and tons of critical chance as well. So she's hitting really hard. And so what happened was my Mythos and me briefly chatted a couple of times on this team. So he said that he had run out of offense. He did manage to one shot my Asajj on the very first battle, but it took him five other battles to try to work down Zombie and Spirit, and that can get to be a pretty tricky combination because you essentially have to get Spirit out killed three times, and then you'll be able to take this team out. And especially if you're running on dregs, you're at the bottom of your roster. You're trying to once you've already gone through all these tough teams and you're trying to throw the rest of your roster against a team like this, it can get really tricky to take out an R5 Spirit. Methos was saying to me that whatever team he threw in there, Spirit was one-shotting all characters one by one. So it was quite a struggle. But so it's good to see that Spirit was pulling her weight, and I was able to get a hard stop with the sister team. So I was glad to finally put the sisters on defense this time, and good to see that Spirit pulling out. So really, to control the sisters, you need something specific like you need a control mechanism like cruise, double turn, stun, or a daze in the case of Asajj lead, or a control mechanism like fracture or isolate. And if you've already exhausted those kind of things on on some of the other teams, then it gets really difficult to take a Night Sister team out like this. So let me pause for a moment and go and read the comments. So Rob Carter says, "Need to relic my Spirit. Been on my to-do list." Yep, Spirit is I think the second sister that I relicked after Daka. Daka was my first choice because as soon as I gave her the Zeta, the value of relicking her really shot up. G13 and relicking her, and it made it that much more. It made the Night Sister counter to General Grievous that much more reliable with a G13 Daka. But the very second sister that I decided to relic was Spirit, just because of the amount of damage that she does and the amount of one hits that she's able to do. So so that I think is the final score that my opponent has, 1899. I don't think that they'll be able to clear anything more. So I've got more of a relaxed offense. As long as I clear a couple of zones, I should be good. I did keep my General Kenobi negotiator at the back. So that that is something which my opponent did not have a chance to reach. But he had a 6-star negotiator, which is why I decided to keep that at the back. Kept If he keeps his negotiator on defense, then my rebel fleet I think should be able to take care of it. I've been climbing using rebels against negotiators for quite a while, so I think that should be pretty okay. All right, so let's let's go ahead and take a look at what my opponent has set, and then we can go ahead with the attack phase. So some reasonably tough teams at the top. There's a tough sister team over here, Hype the Acolyte version. There's a Karth team, no Zetas on Mission and Zalbar, which makes it slightly easier, but we can leave that team for the end. New teams are always tricky, especially over here. We've got two relict separatist tanks, B2 and Magna Guard. So those guys are going to be a little tricky to take out. But we'll see what we have saved towards the end, and we'll overkill it if we can. And then we have bounty hunters over here. Typically, the bounty hunter team that I've seen on defense is Bosk, Django, and Dengar. Most people seem to go with that. Bosk, Boba, and Dengar. Django is something which typically goes in a Newt or Dooku team, but here we have Django with the other bounty hunters. So let's see what we can take against that. So this one seems relatively okay. Let's go down. Over here, we've got a few tricky teams. Grievous, almost everyone keeps Grievous on defense these days. There's definitely more value there. The one difference over here is I usually see Grievous with B1 and B2, or sometimes with Magna Guard. Here I see him with Droidica, which is going to be which is going to be interesting to take out. So let me see what I want to take against that. And then we've got the other sisters team over here. There's only one reviver over here though, Dhaka. So let's see what we can take against that. And what's the health on Dhaka? 85. So pretty healthy Dhaka. And then we've got a Shakti clones team, R7 Rex and R7 Fives, which will be problematic. Now, I was a little surprised that my opponent, Methos, hadn't set General Skywalker on defense, given that he has an R7 General Skywalker with fully equipped R7 clones as well. So I can guess that Skywalker may be at the back over here, but in all likelihood, I have a feeling that my opponent might have saved Skywalker for offense. Since they follow my channel, they know that I go really, really heavy on defense. So they might have saved Skywalker for offense to take out some of my teams down below. So I'm just hoping that Skywalker is not at the back, but all the same, I will save my Rebel team and my Dooku, EP, Thrawn for the back, just in case I need to take out a General Skywalker team and control him. So that's the situation over here. Let's go ahead and dive right into the battles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take. I'm going to do the. What am I going to do? I think I want to do the Night Sister team first. There are tons of stuns over there, but as someone noticed over here, Draknal Hiddan, stuns galore on that Night Sister team, but no zombie. That's right. There's no zombie, so and no Talzin as well. So once you kill someone, they stay dead until Daka revives them. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Geos against them, and Geos really the weak point is Plague, and there's no Talzin over here. I'm hoping that I should be able to ability block Daka enough to prevent the well, but I won't be able to ability block because I'm not taking Poggle in. I'm wondering which Geos to take in. So definitely Brood Alpha and Spy. I think Soldier might be the best other option. Poggle also is not bad to consider because there's another source of cleanse in case people get stunned, and there's a source of ability block to prevent these guys from prevent Daka from reviving. But let me try that. Let me actually try just with Soldier, Spy and Soldier. I think I just need some damage on over here. So Wolfgang Silversong says I always run GBA, Spy and Poggle. Let's yeah, actually Poggle seems like a good idea to me too. I usually run Soldier, but we really don't need Tenacity down out here. My gut has been telling me to run with Poggle, even though mine is only G12, pretty weak, but I do have a moderate for potency, and he is going to be inflicting a lot of ability block, which could be useful over here because I do want to prevent Daka from reviving, and there's an extra source of cleanse over here, and as someone noted, this is a stun heavy team, so having two sources of cleanse is going to be pretty good. All right, I think the consensus is Poggle. Let's go ahead and run this and see how it goes. It's nice to be able to interact live with the audience, with my audience over here. It's pretty good to see that because usually I record live and just interact over comments, but it's nice to be able to interact with everyone and get people's opinions. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cleanse over here and take out the foresight on Spirit. I'm going to save the cleanse for now and keep going on Spirit. That's one death. She's done. Oh, why am I counting deaths? We don't have zombie, so deaths don't matter. I think Poggle was a good idea because as you can see over here, I have managed to keep Daka ability blocked, which is why she wasn't able to revive Spirit. So let's go ahead and keep doing that. And there we go. We have a big hit from Spy ready. Hopefully this should take it out. And that's it. No more revives. So not bad. I think Poggle was the right call. And this turned out to be a relatively easy match. It was a pretty heavy Daka, about 85k health with the Zeta, relic level 3, but ended up not mattering in the end. Another advantage of having a ability block out there is uh, Sarge is not going to be doing any of her AoEs, which will end up costing these guys banners. But anyway, we're not playing a banners game. As long as we clear, we win pretty easily. But that's another good advantage. Okay, so that was a relatively easy victory. Poggle, I think, was the right call. All right, next team. Let's see what we can take against these. Now, both of these are tough teams, and I think that these are probably going to be the toughest teams on the board. I don't think my opponent has really heavy stuff at the back. That's a guess, but I think I definitely need to one-shot these teams and take in something heavy. So my thought is to take Jedi Knight Revan and Padme for these two teams. Now I'm still trying to decide which one to take for which. I usually take Jedi Knight Revan against General Grievous, and uh, and and CLS against the clones, but I want to save CLS for the back. Uh, my clones, I see a comment from Kurtman. Yes, I did set my clones on defense. Both my clones are on defense, both under General Skywalker and Shakti. So I don't have the clones available. Otherwise, I know that clones also are a good option as a cleanup against uh, General Grievous. Not cleanup, but one-shotting them. And especially, I think clones with Arc and Rex might have been a good option. Rex, Arc, and Fives, because Arc would mean that there'll be tons of dispels and assists, which are great against both Droidica and B1. But we don't have that. So I think what I'm going to do is, given that this is a assist heavy team, both Droidica is going to be assisting as well as B1 is going to be assisting. So maybe I might take Padme against this one. Rocker and Mazal says JKR doesn't have a dispel for Droidica. That is correct. JKR doesn't have it, but Padme does. Anakin AoE will be able to dispel, and yep, and I think GK, my General Kenobi might be good enough to withstand Droidica hit as well. Plus, there'll be plenty of undispellable bonus protection, which will be going around with both Droidica as well as B1 assisting. So I'm leaning towards using Padme against the Grievous team, and then General Jedi Knight Revan against the Shakti team. I think that might be the better option. What I'll do is I will take the Padme team against the General Grievous team first. If that fails, then I'll take my Jedi Knight Revan over there and then use CLS for the Shakti team. But I'm going to take out Droidica ASAP. That is correct. I think I'm definitely going to do that. Droidica at relic level 5 is a nightmare. Moderate for offense as well. Not much speed, but plenty of offense. The good news is there's no dispel out here. So Padme team protection up will not be dispelled. So I think Padme is the safe option against these guys. Okay, so here goes nothing. I am going to get some protection up. And let's do this. I'm going to save the AoE for now. I'm just going to try to take down Droidica. Okay. Unfortunately, Droidica is taunting, so I'm just going to do a basic. Basic again. And now the AoE is up, so I'm going to dispel that. Now let's try to get rid of Droidica. Okay, so Droidica's gone. That's one major danger gone. We do have Grievous left. I think my team should be able to survive one more AoE from Grievous, so I'm just going to go and try to take out B1 as soon as I can. Some more protection up, that's always good. Okay, 13 stacks. I don't think it'll get rid of him. Yeah, might as well do that. Okay, so Anakin got stunned, but I think we are fine. Okay, so I think this one was a good call. The protection up really did end up saving us. I think this team might have been problematic if B2 was there instead of B1, because then you've got two people that you want to take out before Grievous. Typically, when B2 is in the team, you want to target B2 first and try to take them out, just so that he doesn't end up, going off and giving turn meter. If Watt is there in the team, if Watt is there in addition to B2, what you end up doing is you take out B2 first, then you take out Watt, and then you go after Grievous. But if B2, Watt, and a high relic Droidica like this is there, then you have to basically take out multiple droids before going in for Grievous. So that's the balance that you always have to go towards. All right, so that is done. Now we have one more team left, which is the Shakti team. And I'm going to use my Jedi Knight Revan against it. So I did consider using CLS, but if I take a look at how his 5s is modded, it's really not modded much for protection and health or defense. There's tons of damage out here. If I look at the protection, the primaries over here, the cross has got an offense, triangle is offense, and arrow is offense as well. So it's going to be so I definitely can't take out Rex first because 5s is going to sacrifice himself and Rex is going to get tons of offense. Well, actually, a lot of offense is more dangerous on Echo or Arc. Rex typically doesn't rely as much on offense. But all the same, because there's not much protection and armor, not as much as other 5s that I've seen, I'm probably going to take JKR in and focus down on 5s, get rid of him first, and then try to get rid of Rex as soon as I can before he ends up annihilating someone. And the good news is with the JKR, since there's a revive as well, so even if Rex ends up annihilating somebody, hopefully, Savior is going to be triggered. And if Savior has already been triggered and he annihilates JKR or Grandmaster Yoda, then Jolie will be able to get them back. So I like JKR against this just for the extra survivability as well. So let's go ahead and use JKR. All right, let's go ahead with this. So Rex goes first. I think the speed was 269 or something like that. 289, the Rex speed. What am I doing? I have to go after 5s. Okay, I'm just going to spread these buffs around. Call Yoda. I'm not going to do a mass assist because Shakti is going to end up getting a lot of turn meter, so no AoEs. I'll do the AoE now to get rid of 5s. And then let's go after Rex. Let's pass the turn meter here. Spread this around. So another good thing is Rex's big hit, the Annihilate, it misses on Foresight. And because Jedi Knight Revan team has got so much of Foresight, so much source of Foresight, if you happen to have Foresight up while Rex's Annihilate comes around, then he's completely wasted it on you. So that's another good reason to take this team against it. So now there's really not much of an issue. All the danger is gone, and we ended up with 54 banners. So yep. So it's pretty straightforward victory. So we have used up 3 pretty good teams, but let's go and see what's at the back. All right, so relatively weak team. So I think we've got this in the bag. Um, it's uh, it's a relatively easy cleanup. I think we've got more than enough offense to take out all these teams efficiently. We just have to decide which ones to take against what. I think we've got a couple of two or three tough teams over here, but this back zone, as I'd guessed, is pretty light. Um, and I'd guessed as much that my opponent had light defense because their offensive record was really off the chart, really good, which makes me think that their offensive style is really going offense heavy. So so it shouldn't be much of an issue. All right. So we can have some fun with the defense because we know that we're going to full clear and we're going to win. So we can try some fun stuff out. I definitely am going to take the Wampa against that rebel team, but we'll definitely try some fun stuff out. Let's take out a couple of these tough teams on top, and then we can figure out what we want to take against the others. Let's read some of the comments before I proceed. Going to try solo Nihilus against that tank team. So by tank team, I mean I'm guessing that you mean the this one, the Stormtrooper Han. So I was going to consider that, but I've had some bad luck with Nihilus solo. Vandor, even though he's G12, he does hit hard on his special, and Nihilus doesn't have as much health recovery as I would like on his own lead. So I've lost a battle with Nihilus trying to solo a tank team like this. Against this one, I'll probably go with my standard counter against these timeout teams, which is going to be Vader lead. I really enjoy using Vader lead against these kind of teams. So I might just try that against it. Let's read the some more comments. Rockerin Mazel says not setting 7-star gas on D. Yeah, my opponent had 7-star gas, and I was expecting him to at least set it in the front, but they did not set it on D. And my guess is they saw that I usually go offense heavy and decided to my defense heavy and decided to keep it on offense to take out some of my defense. So let's do one thing. Let's take out some of these tough teams out here. Rob Carter says, yeah, Vader lead looks like fun. Yep. Vader lead is tons of fun. Vader was actually one of my first 3 Zetas that I ever did. Of course, back in those days, it was for Pit and Tank Raid. But in 5v5, I've really never had a chance to use Vader lead. There are so many better teams out there. But in 3v3, that's when Vader lead really shines. And I always make it a point to use Vader lead at least once on offense. It's tons of fun. It's a lot of fun watching these teams melt on their own, all these timeout teams and all that. So we'll definitely do Vader lead over there. All right. So I think the toughest team. So I want to see which one to take my CLS against, either the Newt or or the Bounty Hunter team. So I've got. Let's see what I have. I've got CLS. I've got Treya. Those two are tough ones. I've got yeah, the others are not that great, but I think CLS and Trey are the two biggest ones. So I'll probably try CLS against. I think Triathlon might be best against. No, I think I'm going to save Treya for this Night Sister team. Yeah, it's got zombie, isolate on zombie, plenty of heal, and it's got 1,000 lead as well. So Treya is great against 1,000 lead just because of all the healing that they do on their own whenever they attack an enemy with debuffs. So Plague is never going to stick. So I think I'll use Treya out there. And I'm going to use CLS. Now I have to decide whether to use CLS against the Newt or against the Bounty Hunters. I might do this Bounty Hunter team is relatively well 111% tenacity, not as much. So maybe I might do my and the other Bounty Hunters, Django and Boba, are not G12 yet, G13 yet. So maybe I'll do JTR for the Bounty Hunters, CLS for the Newt, and Treya for the Sisters. I think those three are the toughest teams. And yeah, it looks like Klesso also agrees with me. Treya for NS, CLS for Newt. Okay, let's go with that. Actually, yeah, Beats Rebel Force Endo says that Basti Wampa for 1000. That's also not a bad idea. Uh, but Basti Wampa I like for sisters, but I tend to use them when there's a Sarge lead just because of the days that the days that they help that Wampa helps with. And I was planning to take my solo Wampa against these rebels over here. So that's why I think I'll probably still, even though I think Basti Wampa can very well take out the Talzin team, I think I'll save my Wampa for the rebels. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take out JTR against this the bounty hunters. And do I have CLS? Do I have a C3PO? So maybe I'll use a C3PO against it. The bounty hunters melt really fast with C3PO. So let me take these three in, and hopefully they should do the job. What am I going to do? I'm just going to call in this guy to assist. Apply some. Okay, that's good. So we've got a lot of tenacity down. Let's go after Boba and finish him off. Django. Okay, so seems to be in control. Actually, maybe I should go after Django, given that Boba, because he's got tons of he's got an execute ability, so it could get difficult. But as of now, they're under ability blocks, so both of them are not as dangerous. Let's keep working on Django for now. Another confuse over here. All right, so it looked like even with 111% tenacity, Bosk is still getting ability blocked, which is not much of an issue. So I think you really need high tenacity these days against these kind of teams. Let's reduce some turn meter on Django. All right, so pretty easy, clean team to take against bounty hunters. This is actually a good team to take if Dengar is in the team, because the usefulness of R2 is reduced if Dengar is in the team, because you can't hide your own team with stealth. So you can probably use R2 with the rebels in that case. But if Dengar is not there, then R2 is also a good option to take in against that. Okay, so Bounty Hunters is done. Now let's go ahead and do CLS and Treya for these two teams, and then we can go and have some fun. Let's do CLS against the new team. I'm going to go in with the full squad. Now I have used Kira as a lead for Chewie and Han as well, and I've really liked doing that in the past. Sometimes I've kept CLS on defense with Old Ben and C3PO and a couple of other rebels at times. In those cases, Kira is a really good lead. I think the second best lead probably for Chewie and Han, because she gives offense up, crit chance up, helps them recover protection, and tons of other good stuff like that. So I think Kira is definitely something to consider if you want to take rebels against a tough team. But in this case, I think we should just be able to finish these guys pretty easily. Should I go for B2 or Newt? Newt is G13. B2 is... I think I might just go for B2 and take him out, because otherwise he's going to end up giving plenty of turn meter to these guys. Let me stun this guy, take him out first. All right, cool. So we were not able to avoid the extortion, but that's fine. We're not going for banners anyway. But this should take out Newt. All right, let's clear the extortion now. Stun, clear the extortion again, and this should do it. There we go. Clean victory. Yep, so I'm just reading the comments now. Everyone agrees B2 is the first one to take out because, yeah, tons of AoE from B2, tons of turn meter gains. Yeah, B2 is typically, unless you've got some team with daze, where you're able to daze B2 first, B2 should always be the first target. Okay, so that was a clean victory. Let's go ahead against the Night Sister team with our Treya. And we have enough offense, so I'm just going to take in all three, Treya, Nihilus, and Scion. The rest of the teams at the back are really nothing much to worry about. So I really don't think I'm going to need Nihilus for anything else. So I'm just going to take the full squad in there. Let me make sure I'm selecting the right team. All right, let's go. Okay, so Talzin was fast, Plague is out, but as you can see over here, there's going to be tons of healing with these guys, with the sisters. Let's just keep these guys, keep using basics until the Annihilate is up. All right, this should Annihilate should come in the by the next turn. Another reason Treya is great against these guys is Scion has got a Dispel, which is really the perfect counter against Acolyte. There are very few. There are only a certain number of characters who can Dispel, and it's always useful to have those around for Acolyte to be taken out. I'd actually created a list some time back on exactly that, which is which characters can Dispel. So maybe I think after this battle I'll show that list briefly, and then we can take it from there. Okay, so now I'm just waiting for Scion's Dispel to come around. I'll have to speed it up because what's going to happen is Scion is going to Dispel, and then I'll have to kill Acolyte 3 times unless my Annihilate is also ready at the same time. So Annihilate is ready. I'm just going to keep it on standby for now. Let's do this. I'm going to isolate Zombie when he's at full health. Let's Dispel this. All right, this is perfect. So this is exactly what I was waiting for. I was just waiting for Scion to Dispel and to have my Nihilus's Annihilate ready so that I can directly Annihilate Acolyte, because I've made that mistake before where I've annihilated one of the characters, but Acolyte was under stealth, and by the time Scion's Dispel came around, I could end up killing Acolyte twice. I had timed out. So it's very easy to time out with this team if you don't time your Dispel right. But as it stands now, we are in good shape. We still have 2 minutes to go. And we should be done with this pretty soon. All right. So 52 banners. Let's go ahead and take a look at what I was talking about. So a while back when 3v3 started and Grand Arena in general started, what I'd done is I'd created these tabs for basically character abilities, and this is the tab that I had for Dispel. So I made a note of all the characters who can Dispel, and this is creating something like this is very useful to have when you're trying to create teams on the fly for Grand Arena for offense. So here you can see the characters at the top. Those are the premium dispellers, I would say. All the ones in the first row, they are the ones who can dispel, who can mass dispel, which is dispel all the five characters on board. So Asajj, Scion, and Asajj and Asajj and IPD, I think, are the best dispellers in the game, just because they can dispel without attacking the enemy. So basically, the dispel is a non-attack dispel. So it's really useful because attacking the enemy sometimes triggers a lot of things, like it can trigger a taunt from GK, for example, uh, or other things like that. So in my opinion, the IPD and Asajj dispel are the really good um, are the best dispels in the game. Then Scion is the next one because Scion's dispel also can't be evaded. Just like IPD and Asajj, Scion's dispel can't be evaded, and if even if your enemies have foresight, it'll still go through. The mass dispels of Death Trooper and Echo can be evaded, which is why I would categorize them as second layer. But even that is a good mass dispel to have. The other characters over here are single target dispels. Uh, Nest, for example, can dispel on a basic. Paplu can dispel on the basic, and Nihilus as well. And some of these other characters over here also have some dispel abilities. But the premium dispellers are only the top five that you see at the top. So let me briefly go through the other tabs as well. They're basically divided by characteristic kits of the characters. So stunners, for example, I've got over here the premium stunners, which is mass stunners who can also shock. Those are the ones at the top. So those guys have got good synergy with Malik, for example. And then you've got the second row is basically guys who can stun on their basic. Third, fourth, and fifth row are other guys who can also stun. So in case you want a control mass, oh yeah, I think somebody mentioned Jedi Knight Anakin. Yes, he's got a mass dispel as well, and Logray. Logray, Logray has got a single target dispel, so I should have mentioned above here as well. That's correct. So Doc Logray has got a dispel. Jedi Knight and Anakin has got a mass dispel. So those I'll probably add over here. But yeah, you've got other characters over here who can stun. Other characters over here who can daze. The first tab over here is, for example, all the characters who can mass daze. Um, all of these are at a premium. Nest and Wampa get used a lot for their mass days. The other three characters not as much. But I think in a 5v5 setting especially, the mass days can come in really handy. And there are other characters who days on their basic and who've got other days in their kits. You've got some universal leaders over here, which I've kept out here. You've got some revivers. So and tenacity down. Tenacity down is another good debuff to have handy, especially those guys who can apply tenacity down on their basic. Just because there's so many characters who are being modded for tenacity these days, it's always good to have these kind of characters who can apply tenacity down so that your debuffs and control mechanics do land. So that's just a brief overview of the tabs that I'd built out a while back. If you guys find it useful, do something like that as well. It just helps to organize your offense on in Grand Arena. All right, so let's go ahead and finish off the rest of these battles. Um, let's do some fun battles. Let's take a Wampa solo against these rebels first. I haven't done a Wampa solo in a while, so I've been meaning to do that. And these rebels don't really have any stun, so it's really not much of an issue for Wampa. I do have let me show you how I've modded my Wampa. So I do have my Wampa modded for tenacity because he is R7. He's got plenty of damage on his own, so it's really not much of an issue. But what I've done is I've put a tenacity set apart from a critical damage set, and I've kept a tenacity cross on him. So he's got about 107% tenacity, which is not much these days, but it's enough to ward off the occasional days and so on. So I'm just going to take in my Wampa solo against the rebels and see what this guy does. Oh, I forgot. Actually, Jin does have a stun. Well, hopefully once I get my AoE up, there's an additional tenacity that he gets. I think he gets additional tenacity when he gets when he gets, yes. So when he has protection up, Wampa does have plus 50% tenacity. So the 110% tenacity that I have becomes 160%, which is good enough. Okay, I'm going to slow this down a bit. 127k. That's what I like to see with the Wampa. Okay, so we've done that. Let's use the Vader team against this timeout team. So as I mentioned, I like to use Vader with Candrass against some of these timeout teams. Let's see. Do I want to? Who else do I want to take against that? They don't have a dispel. They have a lot of turn meter capability. So maybe I take in a tank. Yeah, let me do that. Let me take Vader and Candrass. And which tank do I want to take in? Either Sith Trooper or Shore will be fine. I think I'll just go in with Shore. Yeah, Shore can heal on his own as well. The problem with Sith Trooper is he won't be able to heal by himself, and L3 is going to be countering quite a lot. So that's what happened with when I took Sith Trooper last time. L3 kept countering him to death, and I ended up finishing with Darth Vader and Candrass. The other thing to watch out is once I took my Vader in against a team with Shakti in there, and I took a Sith Trooper in there, and Shakti kept dispelling the taunt on the Sith Trooper. So that was a lack of judgment on my part as well. Let me just quickly go through the comments. Good night, Jin. Wampa. Yep. So Kurtman says I R7 my Wampa just because of Endall. That's awesome. That's great to hear. 200k basics are typical for his counters. Yep. Wampa was a passion project of mine. I think he'll still do great damage even at R5, but yeah, R7 Wampa is definitely something to be scared of. So let's go ahead with this team against the timeout team. Let's increase the speed. All right, so I've landed a few dots over here. I'm going to do the AoE and get some more dots out here. Let's get the crit immunity. And I'm going to keep applying some dots. Candrass is an amazing pair with Vader. Applies up to 3 dots on his basic. And he's great against tanks because he does extra damage against tanks. And he applies tenacity down, which is great against tanks as well. All right, let's. So we've got 2 tanks. So we're just going to keep applying dots on everyone till they have enough dots, and they start dying off by themselves. So there you can see Storm. This one L3 is almost out. The thing is, Vandor has got prepared in there, so I'm just going to wait for Vandor to use his. L3 died on her own. Okay. So good news is that prepared has been exhausted, but I'm sure he's going to get prepared pretty soon. Okay, so we at least took out Stormtrooper Han before prepared came back. The good thing about all these dots on Vandor is he gets prepared when he gets to full protection. So all these dots, even if you're not able to directly target, why am I targeting him? He doesn't have taunt. She doesn't have taunt. So even if I'm able to directly not target Vandor, because of all these dots, he keeps losing his protection and health. So that's another added bonus of this team. I'm doing all the AoEs that I can so that Vandor gets as many dots as possible. So each of these dots does 5% damage to health. So once you get to 20 dots, that's when character will be one shot from full health. Okay, so now you can see over here, Vandor is no longer has prepared. So I'm just going to go and get rid of L3, and then we can work on Vandor. In my last match, I counted the number of dots that I was able to put in. I think I had up to 21 dots on L3 at one point of time, and now I think we had close to 17 or 18. I didn't really see, but that was fun. Not really good for banners, but it's a fun team to take on offense. It's fun watching these guys die to dots. Okay, we've got three really weak teams to take out. We've got Karth, we have Troopers, and we have Empire. Now, EP, let's see what we can take against EP. What else do we have? We've got tons of stuff left. Let me open it up. Are you guys interested in seeing any interesting teams? Do you guys have any ideas for something interesting that you want to take in? We can experiment with stuff also. I don't mind losing one or two battles against these teams if you want to experiment with some funky stuff. So let me know if there's something interesting that you guys want to see. Basti lead for EP. Do I have Basti with me, or did I keep her on defense? I do have Basti. That's right. Yeah, Basti is good to try out. Something creative with Watt. Yeah, Watt definitely. I want to try something cool with that. Oh, I really wanted. I was very curious to try this team out. Watt, Hermit Yoda, and C3PO. I know 100% that team was going to lose, but I was really curious to see what would happen if you go in with just these three non-attacking characters in a 3v3 scenario. We do have Hermit Yoda and Watt, so maybe we'll take Hermit Yoda, Watt, and another character against one of the other two remaining teams, and see how that does, because we've already used up our C3PO. But let's first use a Basti lead against these guys, against the EP team. So let's see what Jedi we have left. Basti. We have Ahsoka, who will be useful in dispelling Show Trooper. So Kurtman says that taking those three in, C3PO, Hermit Yoda, and Watt, it'll be an auto loss. So I don't think that's the case, because they only escape from battle if they are the last one remaining behind. But if there are other characters on the battle, then I don't think that they'll escape, given that they're not the last ones remaining behind. So until you kill two of the three characters, they're not going to escape from battle. That's my thought. I mean, we can try it out in Grand Arena or in Galactic War or something like that. But I think that's what I think would happen. Qui-Gon, Bastilla, Ahsoka, Juhani. Juhani is not a bad idea. We can try Juhani. So we've got a tank, we've got an attacker, and Basti. Let's take this. Basti has got a dispel as well. So let's dispel this, and Juhani's got a cleanse as well, which is always good. So let's see if I can't stun. So whenever I go against Vader, against EP, I always try to take out EP first, especially against Jedi and Rebel, because EP, as long as EP is present, these guys lose 20% of their health every time that they take a turn, both Jedi as well as Rebel teams. So it's always advisable to get rid of EP as soon as possible, just so that your team doesn't end up losing turns, losing health. And for the case of characters who are both rebel as well as Jedi, like Old Ben and Ezra, um, in those cases they lose 40% health. So it's uh, it's pretty it's pretty effective. So that's the reason why you need to take EP out first. Okay, so this was a pretty easy victory, full 24 banner, full 54 banners. All right, so I'm looking at the comments right now. 100% escape. So I guess a couple of you tried it in GW and they escaped. That was at the back of my mind. I thought that they would escape, but it's good that a few of you confirmed it as well. Yeah, but we can still take Hermit Yoda and Watt with one more character. Um, or let's see, what else do we have? We've got a full first order team left. We have uh, we have Nest, who can very easily solo the troopers as well. We've got Thrawn, we've got EP, we've got Droidica, we've got Dooku. Maybe I take Dooku, Droidica, and Watt, full separatist squad. That's always fun to see. Mm, yeah, those guys are good. Super buff Nest with Watt and Hermit Yoda. Hermit Yoda, Watt, and Nest. I don't mind that. Yeah, that might be a decent team. I mean, it's overkill for sure, but yeah, we really don't need any undersized feats. We don't need to do anything else. So let's just go ahead with that. Hermit Yoda, Watt, and Nest. Okay, let's go with that. Nest, Watt, and let's go with the Separatist. So that's the team that we can try out against the troopers. So let's give which tech do we want to give here? Med pack, blast tech, weapon mod. Let's give the med pack so that we at least end with full protection. Or you know what? Maybe we'll just give let's do this. Let's give the weapons tech mod so that defense is ignored and yeah, so defense is ignored. So let's do an AoE and see how much damage she can do with weapons tech mod. Not much, but we can. Let's go ahead and give the health tech to Hermit Yoda, so he recovers some health. All right, let's. Who do we get rid of first? I think Stark is going to go first, so let's give this to Nest and see how much damage can be done. All right, let's get rid of Veers. I'm going to slow it down. 47k. What I'm going to do is, so Watt's two abilities, let me talk a little bit about these. So the first ability inflicts heal over time, applies heal over time for all allies, and the second ability applies protection over time. So depending on what you want to heal, you can decide whether you want to use the first ability or the second. In this case, because I want to recover a little bit of protection on both Nest and Watt, I'm going to use the second ability, which is the protection over time. And I've got a heal from Hermit Yoda as well, so that should help to regenerate some more health and protection. But in the case, for example, if you're facing a 1000 lead where you've got a lot of plague, in that case you'd want to use a lot of basics from Watt just to recover health. So there we go, 54 banners. Definitely overkill, but fun to see. So we've got just one team remaining behind, Karth team. No Zeta on Mission and Zalbar, but they will be assisting due to Karth lead, and they will be gaining protection due to Karth lead. So let's see what we have. We have Crew, which is always a very easy cleanup against Karth. We've got Thrawn, which I think I should definitely take in. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take first order. I think we've got a comment also. I'd use first order. Yep. So we've got these two, and I don't have my Watt since I used him, so I'm just going to use Thrawn and these guys. Thrawn is always good against against Zalbar. So let's just do this. Okay, I am going to fracture this guy and stun this one. No, stun mission, because she's going to go under stealth and start working on mission. Basic. Let's pass this back to crew. Maybe I should have stunned this guy. Ended up not mattering. Okay, so relatively easy victory. I'm just going to put it on auto. All right, so that's the character section cleared. Let's take a look at what fleet he has. Most likely would have kept the negotiator on offense. But if you have negotiator on defense, then it'll be a good chance to showcase rebels versus negotiator. But let's see what we have. So we've cleared the character section, and we have the rebels with the this is the non-Biston version with Houndstooth and Biggs, which it should be pretty easy for my rebel team to take care of it with Biston in there. So let's go ahead and do that, and we can call it a day or a night. All right. So this is typically the rebel team that I use on offense. Who else do I want to take? I like using Sunfac on offense with both my rebel as well as my negotiator fleet. But I've kept it with my negotiator fleet for now, so I am going to go in with this one and this one. Yeah, I could in all these battles I could have got more points by undersizing, but I'm not really interested in doing that because I just want a victory. And I'm not really competing for a top 50 position or anything like that. All right, let's go ahead and do this. So let's try to take down Houndstooth as soon as possible. With Biston, it becomes relatively easier since these guys apply lots of target locks, so they end up getting tons of turn meter. Okay, so that takes care of Biggs of Houndstooth. And actually, I should have gotten. Why didn't I get in my? Because Houndstooth wasn't there, I should have gotten my Cassian to dispel that. That was a mistake on my part. All right. Yeah, now we can get in our Cassian and get rid of. Ooh, you know what? Yeah, I forgot about that. I can't really target because Cassian ends up giving buffs. All the enemies who have buffs, they end up taking a turn first. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And then I think the next turn we can get rid of Millennium Falcon. Okay, so Falcon is the only one remaining behind. And good thing if we have our Ebon Hawk as well over here, so we're going to get that in next. And that ends up dispelling. And hopefully we should take it out shortly. There we go. Yep. Okay. So that's it. We ended up getting 2462. We could have definitely got more than 2475 or so if we had undersized a few of those last battles, but that's fine. So we ended up getting the victory pretty comfortably. It was a good match. I wish the defense was a little bit stronger, but kudos to my opponent Methos for doing a decent job on the on my bottom zone. I think it's the closest that anyone has come to clearing me whenever I've set a tough defense. So at the end of this, my rank is about 132 in Kyber leaderboards. I'm about 52,000, and there was just one match that I lost a few weeks ago. Um, all right, Kleso is saying that he's going to bed, going to be tired tomorrow. Thanks for joining in, Kleso. Really glad that you could make the match. I'll definitely try to make the next live stream a little more at a more reasonable time. All right, so yeah, I lost one match a few weeks ago when I set a really light defense. If I had won that match, and it was a really relatively weak opponent that if I'd set the defense that I usually set, I would have definitely won that match. So if I'd won that match, I would have been 54,200, which means that my rank would have been in the top 20. So I really messed up by by going weak on defense. So that's probably the very last time I'm setting a weak defense. I'm more comfortable playing a naturally offense heavy game, a defense heavy game. So I think that's what I'm going to stick to in the future as well. Cool. So that's it for this stream. I'm just going to hang around for a minute or two more just to read the comments and see if any of you guys have any questions or anything that you guys want to chat about. But otherwise, I think I'll probably end the stream. I don't know. I think it's been about an hour, a little more than an hour. So it dragged on for a while, but I'm just glad that we didn't have any technical issues because I'm really technically illiterate. So that's the reason I do all my streaming from the phone. So I'm just glad that we didn't have any tech issues and streaming issues as such. I think the stream went off pretty smoothly. So yep. So that's it for this season of Grand Arena, season 4. I think going forward, I will have a little more time to do these live streams. Hopefully, I'll manage to do at least one or two every season. So Kurtman says, "What time is it there?" So I'm in Pacific Standard Time. So it's about 10:45 p.m. for me right now. So really thanks a lot to all the guys from the East Coast or from other places where it's later than midnight who are joining in. I know it was a really late stream, and I think we had about 50 to 60 people join in. But thanks for joining in. It was really fun, having this interactive session with the community. It's always something that I enjoy. So yeah, I don't think I'll drag it out any further. It's late for quite a lot of you guys. So next time probably I'll have a bigger stream, maybe set aside more time for answering questions and other things like that. I'll probably do that a little later. But this was just a test stream, but it's good to know that everything went off okay. So all the best to the rest of you. If you haven't done your Grand Arena match for the finals yet, all the best to you guys. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and I will catch you guys again next season for season 5 of Grand Arena Championships. All right. Have a great night. Good morning, and I will see you guys later. Take care.